Now, this is a question where you have to figure out the transformation. And again, what's going to matter in these questions is you should be familiar with the graphs of sine and cosine. And it's enough to remember the 5-point summary. You can construct a graph from there. Remember, one fundamental period worth of information is enough for the whole graph, and 5 points is enough for that one period. For both sine and cosine, the period starts at 0 and the period is 2 pi. And let's call angles theta. And sine of theta and cosine of theta for the 5 horizontal values, 5 angles, which are 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi for both sine and cosine. And the values are for sine 0, 1, 0, negative 1, 0, and for cosine 1, 0, negative 1, 0, 1. And those numbers can be found from the unit circle. Right? That's how we collected them. For the graph itself, it looks like that, and those are the 5 points you mark on the graph. If you have those 5 points, you can draw the graph. This is only one period, so those 5 points, and once you have those 5 points, you can just connect them using a sinusoidal wave, and then the rest of the graph is just obtained by using periodicity. So remember that one full period, the fundamental period. And what you can do is, because of the cofunction properties and the periodicity, there will be multiple correct answers to this question. So just try to see a sine or cosine shape in this graph. Well, what I see is the maximum is 1 and the minimum is -5. So the the graph is oscillating between -5 and 1, which would put -2 in the middle, right? Y equals to -2. So max is 1 and min is -5, and their average is 4 over 2, which is -2. -4 over 2, which is -2. That gives you the middle. And then from there, you can figure out how much the graph is going up or down. Right? It goes up or down by 3 units. That's going to be the amplitude. So let's go with sine, for example. Y equals to a sine bx minus c plus d. You can use the formulas, the phase shift, the period, etc. Or what I like to do is I try to see sine or cosine. So a piece that looks like the graph of sine. So if we have chosen sine, so that could be the piece. Okay, those are my 5 points after the transformation. Now, this is x and that's y. So my 5 points would be, 5-point summary points would be at -1, at 1, at 3, at 5, and at 7. If these are the values for x, and these will be the values for a sine bx minus c plus d, whatever the thing is, they're going to be -2. So yeah, -2, 1, -2, -5, -2. All right, so what we try to do is we try to figure out A, B, C, D for my 5 points and see how much those 5 points of sine have transformed. So I'll do it in 2 steps. Step 1, I'll deal with the horizontal transformation. So everything for my x happens between -1 and 7, whereas for bx minus c, what goes into sine, everything should happen between 0 and 2 pi. So what you want is to get from here to there, right? So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So that way I'm making the left side 0. And then the right side, I want to make 2 pi. So I'm going to multiply by something. So what am I supposed to multiply? I need to multiply by pi over 4, right? If I multiply by pi over 4, 8 times pi over 4 would be 2 pi. And 0 times pi over 4 is 0. And pi over 4 times x plus 1 would be here, and that's 2 pi. And from here, that's what's going to go into sine. If you want to clean it up, pi over 4x, you can leave it like that, or you can write plus pi over 4. So we're done. We don't have to memorize anything. Just find a sine, piece of a sine curve, mark your 5 points, and then deal with the period, where your period starts and ends, and then change the start and end point to 0 and 2 pi, and that's going to give you what is in your sine graph. So what I figured out is my b is pi over 4, my -4x, and my c is negative pi over 4. Okay, minus minus. Like c is always the number that follows the minus, if you want to stick to the formulas in the book. I'm not using those, so for me, I'm just putting that whatever I obtained here. And to figure out a and d, you need to find out how to get from how to get from 0, 1, 0, -1, 0. What that vertical transformation was. From here to there. What happened? And that you can see from the graph. So the amplitude, instead of 1, is 3. That's the stretching. And the shift is by -2. So 3 times the numbers stretched by 3, and then subtract 2. So y equals to, or f of x, it's asking for the function. F of x, what does it ask for? Find an equation. So y equals to 3 times sine of pi over 4x plus pi over 4 minus 2. That would be one correct answer. Okay. If you want to go with cosine, you can do that. All you have to do is find a cosine pattern. So you remember your graph. So I want to start at a maximum, go go all the way down to minimum and then maximum. See that happening. I can see it happening maybe here. Maximum all the way to minimum and come back all the way to maximum. That would be one period for cosine. I didn't start at 1. I mean, right after this period, there's another period because this portion is missing. I mean, you can figure it out. I mean, at 9, you hit another maximum. So you can start at 1 and end up at 9 if you want. But I'm going to use what's on the graph. I'm not going to extend it. So -7 is between my x between -7 and 1 is my period for cosine. And what I want is I want to have transform thing inside cosine and the period to be between 0 and 2 pi. So what I do is I add 7 to both sides. And then I want to get to 2 pi. How do you get to 2 pi? Multiplying by pi over 4. Right? I mean, if you know you want to get to 2 pi, and if you're coming from 8, you can compute that ratio. So that would just means 8 times pi over 4 is going to be 2 pi. That's how we can figure out what to multiply by. We know where you want to end up. You know where you are. You can find the multiple that way. Anyway, so you get pi over 4 times x plus 7 and pi over 4x. You can leave it like that, or you can write it like this. And the same way, the mid is y equals to -2. It's right in the middle. So that's the value where that is same distance away from max and min. So you can find the max as we did, min, take their average, find what's the middle. And so that will tell you the vertical stretch and shift. So the vertical stretch is 3 cosine pi over 4x plus 7 pi over 4 minus 2. That would be another correct answer. So let's see if those answers are mentioned. 54. Are the typos in the answer key. Pi over 4x plus 7 pi over 4 is right here. And the period is my period is 8, right? I'd start at -7 and go to 1. So if I add 8 to this number, I will get to the well, start at 1 and end at 9, for example. I would get another way of writing another cosine thing, maybe this one. Or if I subtract 8. I mean, the other ones are related by period, right? The cosines are related by period. So where you find the shape. For sine, pi over 4x plus pi over 4. It's this one, the second answer. 3 times sine pi over 4x plus pi over 4 minus 2. As I said, there are many correct answers, infinitely many sine and cosine correct answers. It depends what part of this graph you consider as your fundamental period. Just find the cosine graph of sine or graph of cosine in your graph. So this shape for cosine and that shape for sine. And then write down where that piece starts horizontally, where it ends. Those are your bounds for x. And then make the bounds 0 and 2 pi, and that's what goes into sine. That's undoing the horizontal transformations, right? Starting from sine and getting to my graph. I start from my graph and try to get to sine. That's kind of all I want to say about this question. Maybe in the next question, I can use the formulas in the book. But I think this is a very practical way of answering this problem without memorizing much.